Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1. On behalf of the Newsfirst, the voice of the people, I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
South Asia's largest nephrology hospital vested with the public. EU to consider temporary withdrawal of Sri Lanka's GSP Plus status. Residences in Sapugaskanda continue to grapple with consequences of oil leak. Healthcare workers continue strike. Vaccination drive affected. G7 countries to offer 1 billion vaccines to poorer countries.
Now those stories in detail. South Asia's biggest nephrology hospital, the National Nephrology Specialized Hospital, also known as China-Sri Lanka Friendship Hospital, was vested with the people by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in Polonnaruwa today.
The stone of the hospital was laid by former President Maithripala Sirisena on the 21st of July 2018, while it is considered as the only hospital in Sri Lanka consisting of the state-of-the-art facilities to treat nephrology. The hospital consists of 204 beds, 100 dialysis machines and an operation theatre that enables kidney transplants, including state-of-the-art labs and high-technology facilities. The hospital was constructed adjoining the National Hospital in Polonnaruwa. The hospital was a gift of the government of China to treat kidney patients across Sri Lanka.
The trade union action launched by members of 26 health unions disrupted services at several hospitals today.
Healthcare workers had begun their trade union action, citing several demands including issues pertaining to their allowances. Government Nursing Officers Union President Saman Ratnapriya said that trade union action has been successful, but the trade action left several patients helpless at hospitals. These were the views expressed by those who visited the Colombo National Hospital.
මිනිසුන්ව මේ වගේ රස්තියාදු කරනවා. එතකොට ඩොක්ටර්ස්ලා නර්ස්ලා ඔක්කොම ස්ට්‍රයික්ලු. එතකොට මිනිස්සු මේ වගේ වෙලාවේ ට්‍රාන්ස්පෝර්ට් උත් නැතුව පයින් එනවා, උඟක් කට්ටිය අඬනවා.
Patients were inconvenienced at several divisional hospitals as well.
එක කණ්ඩායමකට 178කින් වැඩි වාර්තය වැඩි කරාන
Meanwhile, people who gathered at the office of the Biyagawa Medical Officer of Health to obtain COVID-19 vaccines had also been affected due to the trade union. This was after they had been informed that the vaccination would not take place. Meanwhile, the vaccination drive at the Kotalavala area in Ratmalana has also been affected due to this reason.
මිනිස්සු උදේ පාන්දර 3 ඉඳලා මෙතන ඉන්න කන්නේත් නැහැ ලෙඩ හැදිච්ච මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා බයිපාස් කරපු මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා බෙහෙත් නොබී මෙතන ඉන්නවා දැන් දැන් ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා ආයේ හෙටලු විදින්න
බෙහෙත් විදින්න කියලා එන්න කිව්වා ඊයේ announcement එක ගියා අද විදින්නෙත් නැහැ.
A flight carrying 65,000 Sputnik vaccines landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport today.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardana said that 15,000 vaccines will be administered as the second dose in Kottuttuwa. The remaining 50,000 vaccines will be distributed accordingly.
The isolation status in 26 Grama Niladari divisions across 7 districts was lifted today.
The isolation status imposed on 7 Grama Niladari divisions, each in Savanagala and Vattala, was lifted today. 2 Grama Niladari divisions in Dunagahapitiya and 2 Grama Niladari divisions in Kinniya were also released from isolation. The isolation status imposed on 1 Grama Niladari division, each in the Angunukona Palassa, Lindula, Kaatankudi, Panadura South, Valiveria, Mahabage, Deulapitiya and Kadavata was also lifted.
Sri Lanka's death toll due to COVID-19 rose by 101 today. According to the Health Ministry's Epidemiology Unit, the total COVID-19 fatalities has risen to 2011. Meanwhile, the total tally of COVID-19 cases has risen to 216,134, with 2,715 new COVID-19 infections were identified yesterday. The total count of recoveries in the island stands at 182,238. The European Union Parliament has adopted a resolution calling on the EU Commission to consider temporary withdrawal of Sri Lanka's GSP Plus status and the benefits that come with it, noting the government's persistent failure to adopt and enact human rights reform.
The resolution on Sri Lanka was adopted with 628 votes in favour, 15 against and 40 abstentions. The resolution takes specific issue with the use of the Prevention of Terrorism Act or PTA to crack down on minorities and dissidents and urges the Commission and the European External Action Service EEAS to use the preferential trade concessions as leverage to push for advancement on Sri Lanka's human rights and demand the repeal or replacement of the PTA. The resolution says that when Sri Lanka regained access to GSP Plus in 2017, it was on the condition that it would replace the draconian PTA and effectively implement 27 international conventions, including the human rights conventions. The resolution highlights that the GSP Plus scheme had offered Sri Lanka a significant economic boost, from which exports to the EU have increased to 2.3 billion euros, making the EU Sri Lanka's second largest export market. The EU Parliament resolution comes as Sri Lanka is facing another resolution in the US Congress.
A press conference on Sri Lanka's plans to pay off its debts is currently underway at the Government Information Department in Colombo.
We can pay off our debt through the swap agreements with China, India and Bangladesh. We can obtain facilities from Italy as well. We have our hopes of attracting foreign direct investments. We hope that this would increase through the Port City project and the legal framework that has been established on it. We feel there won't be issues in settling the massive debt due next month and in 2022 as well. The central bank can say that Sri Lanka has never defaulted on its debt. We have to protect this image as well.
Yesterday, foreign media reported that an oil slick is visible surrounding the stricken Express Pearl vessel in Sri Lankan waters. However, Sri Lankan officials are insisting that there is no oil leak from the vessel. Various views were expressed on the political front over this incident.
මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ තිබෙන මුදල් සාක්කුවේ දමා ගැනීම වෙනුවෙන් මේ නැව
The government allowed this vessel to enter our waters since they wanted to line theirs. Today we are experiencing the consequences of that decision. The vessel that caught fire is still in Sri Lankan waters. There are chemicals on board the vessel. These chemicals are seeping into the waters. Therefore the government must take steps to remove the chemicals from the vessel. There is no major oil leak, but they are waiting for an oil spill. This is shameful.
දැන් තෙල් කාන්දුවක් වෙලා නැහැ තෙල් කාන්දුවක් එනකම් බලන් ඉන්නවා දැන් දෙන් කාන්දුවක් එනකම් මෙහි ඉඳන් බලන් ඉන්න ලැජ්ජයි කිය.
This is a season in which high tides and monsoonal winds are experienced. Therefore, we are dealing with limited options. We will have to wait until this returns to normal to take necessary action concerning the vessel. We will then evaluate the damages and calculate the compensation that must be sought. We have appointed several specialist committees for this purpose. We hope to obtain international advice for these as well. Yesterday also we saw that the carcasses of marine creatures had washed ashore. Media reports showed images that seemed to portray an oil leak. I believe that our government has a responsibility to calculate the cost of the damages. Action must be taken concerning officials who had brought the vessel to the port. We must focus on the environmental damage at the moment. We saw turtles had died in recent days. Dolphins had died as well. Conduct a post-mortem examination and the relevant inquiries into this. Do you have the laboratory that can conduct a post-mortem examination in keeping with ISO standards? We are suspicious of the steps that have been taken following the deaths of these marine creatures. They are trying to sweep this matter under the carpet.
සූදානම් වෙන්නේ මෙය කාලේ වැලිතලාවට යට කළා ප්‍රශ්න ටික.
Residents of Sapugaskanda say that oil that had leaked from the Sapugaskanda oil refinery to their houses during floods has not been washed away.
According to area residents, rainwater has mixed with the oil stored in the treatment facilities in the Sapugaskanda refinery. Residents have been heavily affected due to the leak.
We are requesting authorities to clean our homes. We are finding it difficult. It is difficult to live here as well. We are requesting for our houses to be cleaned so that we can live peacefully with our children. This is not our mistake. A flood is a natural disaster, but the Petroleum Corporation must bear responsibility for the oil leak. No one is taking responsibility over this. We have nowhere to sleep.
Meanwhile, wildlife officials are currently engaged in a strenuous effort to nurse a tusker back to health that has been immobile for over a month.
The creature is currently being treated at a paddy field in Pudur in Vaunia. It is suffering with sores after being immobile for more than a month. Officials of the Sri Lanka Army and Wildlife Department are treating the tusker.
Although much is spoken about massive projects, several rural parts of Sri Lanka are yet to see a glimpse of the development. This report is about the plight of the Panikanapur village.
The village of Panikanapur is located in the Heel Oya mountain range. For several years, these villagers have been suffering due to the lack of a proper road. Repeated requests made to authorities on this matter have fallen to deaf ears. Farmers point out that they have been hit by difficulties in transporting their harvest to the town.
We do not want our future generation to suffer just as what we are going through. Politicians keep promising that they will address this matter. They visit us during the election campaigning for votes, but they do not visit the area after obtaining our votes. The hospital is located 14 kilometers from our village. People die by the time they reach the hospital. These days we are experiencing rains and strong winds. I am a mother of 3 children. We are afraid that the strong winds will sweep away our roof. Therefore, we request for proper attention to be paid to us.
We have been living here for generations. Politicians visit us during the election. They make several promises and deceive us.
Then displaced. According to the analysis, the food situation in the region has reached the level of a catastrophe, which it defines as starvation and death affecting small groups of people spread over large areas. The UN's World Food Programme, Food and Agriculture Organization and Children's Agency.
In your sports news, Sri Lanka's Yupun Naboikon has finished 4th in the men's 100 meters at the Diamond League Athletic Championships that was held in Florence yesterday.